Hello, everybody. Welcome to another English class here on Verbling.com. My name is Lisa, and I'm one of the English teachers here at Verbling. And in this hour, we'll have a reading class. So if you have a reservation for this hour, you can go ahead and click on the Join Class button. If you don't have a reservation, but you want to join, then you can join as soon as you see the Join Class button. If you have a reservation, you always have the first 2 minutes to join the class. If you don't have a reservation, you just wait a minute, and then as long as you're a member, then you can join the class. So hi there, Heidi. How are you?
Hello, nice to see you again.
Yeah, good to see you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
I keep saying it, even though it's already January 15th. So I like your picture. Hello Kitty ski or snowboarding.
Yes, snowboarding.
Awesome. Do you snowboard?
No, I can't.
No.
My sense of balance is very bad.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But in Japan, a lot of people ski and snowboard, right?
Yes, yes. We have a lot of snow in mountains. So.
Yeah. Is there like a mountain chain, like lots of places to go ski? Oh.
Mountain chain, the center of the mainland. And in Hokkaido, there almost all places were covered by snow.
Wow. Wow.
I'm living in Osaka. This climate is quite good, so we don't have any snow so much.
Oh, does it snow? Does it ever snow in Osaka?
Once or twice a year. But when I had snow, but gradually it melted. Then afternoon we can't see any snow.
I see. Yeah, yeah, goes by fast. Okay. Okay, and Diana. Hi, Diana. How are you?
Hello, Lisa. I'm good, and you?
I'm doing well, thank you. What is your picture of? What is that?
My picture is landscape in China, maybe, but it's only my avatar. I'm from Colombia.
Is that like for Sims World or something like that, or what is the avatar from?
It's a Chinese picture, but it's personal, like for Chinese culture and the landscapes of China.
Oh, okay, nice.
Yes.
Cool. Are you also studying Chinese or something, or you just like it?
No, Japanese, Chinese never, but I like the Eastern cultures. I love all cultures of the Eastern Japan, Korea, China. Are very interesting cultures.
Yeah, yeah, great. Have you ever traveled to those areas, to any countries?
No, it's a future plan. I would like.
Great. Yeah, I have never traveled that way. I've always gone the other way towards Europe. So I haven't made it past Hawaii, but that's how people get there from the United States traveling towards Asia. You usually stop over in Hawaii sometimes and then go on. So, yeah. Yeah. And I haven't made it south too far either. Costa Rica is the farthest south I've been, so I haven't been to South America at all.
Yeah. Costa Rica only in Central America?
Yeah, Central America. Yeah.
Wow.
Yep. So many places to see and go.
Yes.
Yeah.
Interesting places too.
Yeah. Oh, I know. And it's it's pretty easy to travel, but you still need money. So that's
money
and time. Right, exactly. Totally. Oh, look who's joining us. Chow. Chow, I don't imagine you're trying to lose weight. Hi, Chow. Oh, he's having trouble with his connection, maybe. All right. Well, come on back, Chow. We always like to have you. So this hour we have a reading class, and so for the reading, as I always like to say for you guys, but also other people who might be watching this class on Verbling or later, for the reading classes, what I like to do is just choose articles from the internet, so different websites. I go to lots of different websites, and if anybody ever wants to send me a link and say, hey, you know, teacher, let's read this in class, I want to talk about this subject or something, then just go ahead and send me a message on Verbling, and I'm happy to make a class about that. But I found this one because it's kind of a common thing that people do is they try to lose weight as their New Year's resolution. So I got this particular one off of NPR.org, which is National Public Radio. And I like to choose a variety of articles, so sometimes they're political or economic or, you know, current events, something like that. This one is just related to losing weight and your mindset about it as well. So, hi Chow, how's the connection now?
It's working now, I think.
Okay.
Those days I found that when I joined the class first time, I cannot hear anything. Then I re-entry the class before.
Okay. Well, I hear you. It sounds good. So that's good. Welcome. All right. So yeah. So we're gonna read this together, and the way I do it is I always put it on a Google Doc so that we can read it together and look at it. You can open the document if you want. Some other people might open it as well if they're following along with us, but they can't join. So let's get started. Trying to lose weight, that's a question. Your environment mindset may need work first. This January, either you or someone you know is probably trying to lose some weight. Either you or that person probably will fail. In fact, only 77% of people maintain their resolutions for a single week, and only 19% last 2 years. Some claim the success rate might be as low as 8%. Why is it so hard? Okay, Heidi, why don't you start us off here with this part there?
Okay. Trying to lose weight. Your environment mindset may need work first. This January, either you or someone you know is probably trying to lose some weight. Either you or that person probably will fail. In fact, only 77% of people maintain their resolutions for a single week, and only 19% last 2 weeks. Some claim the success rate might be as low as 8%. Why is it so hard?
Yeah. Okay. So trying to lose weight. So that is a common, very common New Year's resolution is I want to lose weight this year, or I want to lose 10 pounds by June, or something like that. And so here in the title, I just wanted to point out that it says your environment and then just a comma and then mindset. So usually in a title, we try to keep it, you know, not too long, so keep it a little bit shorter. So it could have said your environment and your mindset, but it's not necessary. So sometimes in a title of something, they shorten it. So this is shortened here. So we're going to talk about the the environment and our mindset, meaning how do we think about things. So maybe we need to work on that first. Okay, I'll go over some words here. Either somebody you probably know trying to lose some weight. This was kind of a depressing sentence. You'll probably fail. So fail means you're not going to achieve your goal of losing some weight. And then they have this link here if you wanted to go here. It's another article in another website or on another website. 77% of people maintain their resolution. So to maintain means to keep going with. They continue to work on their resolutions, but only for 1 week. So that's not very good. Only 1 week. And only 19% last 2 years. So a lot of people basically drop out. So the success rate, some people claim. To claim means to say, you know, this is what we believe. So they think it's even lower. So New Year's resolutions are kind of fun, but they're not necessarily things that people stick with very often. It's because weight, especially losing weight, it's because weight loss isn't really about willpower. And if you blame yourself for failing to slim down, you place all the responsibility for success or failure squarely on your shoulders when there are many biological reasons people get heavy, from genetics to evolution to chemical exposures. Okay. Oh, hi there, Wellington. Welcome.
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So we're just getting started, and Heidi read already, and now it's going to be Diana's turn. So, Diana, do you want me to call you Diana or the English Diana?
I don't have problem if you.
Okay.
In Spanish is Diana.
Okay.
If you want to say me to call me Diana, I don't have any problem.
Okay. All right. You can read that same little part there. Yeah.
Okay. Why is it so hard? It's because weight loss isn't really about willpower. And if you blame yourself for failing to slim down, you place all the responsibility for success or failure squarely on your shoulders when there are many biological reasons people get heavy, from genetics to evolution to chemical exposures.
Good. And let me just say hi to Kelvin. Hi, Kelvin. Welcome.
Hi, teacher.
Hi. The link is in the VerbLink chat if you want to open it up if you're not there yet. Okay, we just got started, so you're not missing out too much. Basically, so far, the article is, talking about losing weight, which is a common New Year's resolution, and a lot of people fail. So a lot of people are not able to maintain or to keep up with their resolution. So we say they fall off the wagon. And so we're talking about why. So why is it so hard? Okay, because it's not really about willpower. So a lot of people think that you could just decide, I'm not going to eat so much food, or I'm going to exercise more, and that's called willpower. Your will is your ability to say, I'm going to do this. And so some people believe that it's easy to lose weight if you have strong willpower. And if you don't lose weight, or if you get overweight, some people say it's because you have, no willpower when you see that chocolate cake or something like that. And if you blame yourself, so you blame yourself, that means you say, oh, I suck. I'm terrible. I'm not going to be able to do this. It's your fault that you're not able to slim down. So your failure to slim down means to lose weight. To slim means to get skinnier, to slim down, we say. It's a phrasal verb there. So you blame yourself. I'm a terrible person. I don't have any willpower. I don't know what's wrong with me. And maybe it's not you. There are other reasons. That's the whole point of this little paragraph here. You place all the responsibility for success or failure squarely on your shoulders. So to place something, or the responsibility, squarely on your shoulders, it means it's all up to you and nobody else. There are no other factors involved. But that's not true. There are many other reasons, biological reasons, so physical reasons why people get heavy or gain weight, we can say, or get fat. Those are different ways to express the same thing. And it could be anywhere from your genetics. That could influence your weight and how much you weigh. Evolution or chemical exposures. So exposures to different chemicals in your environment might affect your body and make you gain weight. That's the idea. Bruce Bloomberg, a biology professor at the University of California, Irvine, coined the term obesogen in 2006 when he discovered that tin-based compounds known as organotins predispose laboratory mice to gain weight. If you give tributylin to pregnant mice, their offspring are heavier than those not exposed, he says. We've altered the physiology of these offspring, so even if they eat normal food, they get slightly fatter. Tributylin. All right, so that's a compound there. You get to do that one, Chow.
Okay. It's a hard article, right?
Yeah.
Bruce Bloomberg, a biology professor at the University of California, how do you say this?
That's the first time I've ever seen it. So obesogen is how I would say it. Obesogen.
Not obesogen.
Oh.
The place after the California.
Irvine.
Irvine.
Sorry.
Yes. Coined the term obesogen in 2006 when he discovered that tin-based compounds known as
Tributylin. You're there. Organotins.
Organotins.
Mm-hmm.
Predisposed laboratory.
Yeah. Laboratory.
Laboratory mice to gain weight if you gave tributylin.
That's good. Yep.
To pregnant mice, their offspring are heavier than those not exposed. They said that we have altered the physiology of these offspring, so even they eat normal food, they get slightly fatter. The interesting that happened those days after I start to learn Spanish, and then my mind got mixed when I read.
Yeah. Yeah, and your brain has to work it all out. It's working hard now. Yes, it happens. For sure. Okay. All right. So Irvine is just a city in California, and there's a university there. So the University of California system has many different universities throughout California. So Irvine is one of the cities. You might hear San Francisco, San Diego. UCLA is University of California, Los Angeles. Those types of universities. Okay. So he's a biology professor, and he coined the term. So when somebody coins the term, it means they're the first one who comes up with or creates this term that is used to describe something new, usually. So he came up with this new word. A term means a word, and he's calling it obesogen. So obese, obviously coming from obesity, and ogen meaning something that creates it, creates obesity. So he discovered that tin-based compounds. So tin, when you think of tin, it's like, I'll show you, like a tin can or something, maybe. So compounds that are made of, different metals. This is tin. Okay, it's a type of metal. So he noticed that when you gave these things to laboratory mice, so laboratory, so yeah, the pronunciation is, you don't have to say laboratory. You might have heard that. Some people say it like that, but we kind of eat the O, and we just say laboratory. So you don't even have to worry about the O there, laboratory. And they're predisposed laboratory mice to gain weight. So predisposed, that means that when you're predisposed to something, it means it's probably more likely that you're going to have something happen to you. So if you gave them this compound to pregnant mice, their offspring, so their babies, their offspring are your babies, they're going to get heavier even if they're not exposed. Heavier than those that were not exposed. So the pregnant mice that were not exposed to this tributylin, they didn't have babies that would get heavier. So he's saying these doctors, or not doctors, these professors, biology professors in the lab, they were altering or changing the actual physiology. So we have quite a few words in here that are scientific words. Physiology, so what their bodies, what's happening in their body. They changed it in the babies, in the offspring. So even if they eat normal food, normal mice food, food for mice, they're going to get slightly fatter. So they have a little bit of a predisposition, we say, to become fatter, even eating a normal diet for them. Slightly means just a little bit, so slightly fatter. And if the stuff inside your body wasn't complicated enough, there is stuff outside your body that makes it hard to stay the course as well. Junk food companies design snacks to be addictive by exploiting how your body reacts to certain flavors. High fructose corn syrup is in everything and adds to your weight. Okay, hi Ignacio, hi, welcome. Okay, let's see, Wellington, it's your turn now.
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. And if the stuff inside your body wasn't complicated enough, there is stuff outside your body that makes it hard to stay the course as well. Junk food companies design snacks to be addictive by exploiting how your body reacts to certain flavors. High fructose corn syrup is in everything and adds to your weight.
So let me just quickly go back and make sure everybody's on the same page. So we're talking about the idea of losing weight and New Year's resolution. A lot of people say, I'm going to lose some weight, but a lot of people fail. They are unable to maintain their resolution to lose the weight. And a lot of people think it's about willpower and just saying, I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to eat the chocolate cake. I'm not going to have dessert. I'm going to eat more salad, that kind of thing. And so people blame themselves if they fail, if they can't lose some weight or get slimmer. But this article is telling us maybe there are some other reasons, biological reasons, why people actually get heavy. Maybe it's not just eating too much or not exercising enough, perhaps. And so the science here is showing that in mice, at least, in the lab, you can predispose babies by feeding the moms some compounds, some tin-based compounds. So even if they eat normal food, they actually become a little bit fatter. So we're talking about that, and so that makes sense here. This little phrase makes sense then. And if the stuff inside your body wasn't complicated enough, so all, just the stuff inside your body, we have the outside stuff too. So meaning complicated means making it more difficult for you. So if it wasn't already hard enough, to lose weight because of what's going on inside your body, we have these other things as well that make it hard to stay the course. So to stay the course means to keep doing what you said you were going to do. So you have a resolution, I'm going to lose some weight, and you try to stay the course. It means you try to do what you said you're going to do. But if it's hard, you go off course. That's kind of the idea. And you go off the course and you can't maintain your diet or something like that. So what makes it hard to stay on your program is junk foods, for example. So junk food, these companies design their snacks to be addictive. I think you guys probably know addictive when you want more and more, for example. And the way they do this is by exploiting or taking advantage of your body and how it's going to react or respond to certain flavors. So, for example, here in the United States, junk food always has high fructose corn syrup. So not just corn syrup, high fructose, which can be very addictive, and it also adds to your weight. So if people eat a lot of food that has high fructose corn syrup in it, they often gain weight pretty easily. Okay, even the way society talks about overweight people is part of the problem. Fat stigma has actually been linked to weight gain. Exposure to weight stigmatizing news articles caused self-perceived overweight women, but not women who did not perceive themselves as overweight, to consume more calories and feel less capable of controlling their eating than exposure to non-stigmatizing articles. Weight stigmatizing articles also increased concerns about being a target of stigma among both self-perceived overweight and non-overweight women. It's a little confusing. I'll go over it though. Okay, let's see. Kelvin, why don't you go ahead and read? Starting from even the way society.
Okay, even the way society talks about overweight people is part of the problem. Fat stigma has actually been linked to weight gain. Exposure to weight stigmatizing news article called self perceiver overweight woman, but not women who did not perceive it themselves as overweight. Uh, to consume more calories and feel less capable of controlling their eating, the exposure to non-stigmatizing,
Stigmatizing.
stigmatizing, okay,
Mhm.
stigmatizing articles. With stigmatizing articles also increased concern about being a target of stigma among both self-perceived overweight and non-overweight women. Oh,
Okay, it's very confusing. Let's
ah,
I'll explain it here. Okay. So, hi Kako, welcome. The article so far is just talking about some reasons why people might be overweight and why it can be difficult to lose weight, even if that's your goal for your New Year's resolution. So
Hi,
hi,
Lisa.
hi. Okay, so we've talked about tin compounds in mice, making the babies gain weight, even if they're eating a normal diet. And then other problems with the food that we eat. So if you eat a lot of junk food, your body can become addicted and want more of that, certain flavors, especially if it has high fructose corn syrup. High fructose corn syrup, usually you see that as HFCS, so the first letter of each word there. So another problem is even the way our society, people talk about overweight people. So people who are overweight, that's also part of the problem. And it's called fat stigma. So if there's a stigma, that means there's some kind of negative thought about this. So when people are overweight or when they're talking about people being overweight, it's kind of a negative thing here. So this has actually been linked to weight gain, which means people just talking about being fat or commenting on it can make other people become fatter, gain more weight. So there's this quote here, so let's break this down. So exposure to, so first of all, exposure to means maybe you read something or you hear something, you get exposed to it somehow. And so weight stigmatizing news articles. So this is one other part here. And that would mean something like when you're reading a news article about problems with being fat or problems with being overweight or, talking about weight kind of in a negative way. So if somebody read something like that, this caused self-perceived overweight women. So if you are self-perceived overweight, that means you think you are overweight. You may or you may not be, but you see yourself that way. So it caused people, women, who see themselves as overweight already to consume more calories. But it didn't cause people who did not perceive themselves as overweight. So if you think of yourself as normal body weight or maybe even slim, it doesn't affect you in the same way. But if you think or you perceive yourself as overweight and you're a woman, it can cause you to consume more calories. To consume means to eat more food, more calories, and feel less capable of controlling their eating than exposure to non-stigmatizing articles. So if you read an article about weight that doesn't have any negative point of view about weight, then there is no problem with that. But if you read some articles about how bad it is for you to be overweight or something like that, then you're probably going to even eat more. It's probably going to stress you out, is the idea. So weight stigmatizing articles increased concerns. So it made people become more concerned. And even though you didn't necessarily eat more, you were more concerned. You had more stress about either becoming overweight or having a problem. So that's kind of what that's about. So it matters what you expose yourself to, the ideas that you're listening to on the radio or the news or something like that. There are more than enough studies on what causes weight gain that it can bore you to tears. By the way, boredom causes weight gain too. But there's another way to think about it. Take as a case study the way public health policy has addressed another common New Year's resolution, quitting smoking. Legislators tried to motivate smokers, to quit by taxing cigarettes, but they also made it harder to smoke in public. Okay, let's see. Ignacio? You want to read, Ignacio? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Go for it.
There are more than enough studies on what causes weight gain that it can bore you to tears. By the way, boredom causes weight gain too. But there's another way to think about it. Take, as a case study, the way public health policy has addressed another common New Year's resolution, quitting smoking. Legislators try to motivate individual smokers to quit by taxing cigarettes, but they also made it harder to smoke in public.
Good. Okay. So more than enough. So that's pretty straightforward. We use that a lot, like to just express the idea that there's so many. So there are more than enough studies about what causes weight gain that they can bore you to tears. That's a nice expression. If something is so boring, you start crying. It's so boring. So bore you to tears, like if you have to read through those studies. And then there's another link to another study that probably says boredom causes people probably to overeat, because you're bored, you go looking in the refrigerator for something to eat, and that causes weight gain. But there's another way to think about it. So a case study. Whenever you have a case study, it's like an example of something. There's a case. This is the case of quitting smoking. So the way public health policy, so the laws or the regulation, the rules related to public health, they have addressed means to kind of work with a certain situation. So to address a problem means to try to fix the problem, to try to do something, to change something so that the problem will be fixed or will improve or something. So a lot of people have the New Year's resolution of quitting smoking, stopping smoking. And so legislators, those are the people who make the laws, public policies, they try to motivate individual smokers, so people, to quit. And the way they did it is by taxing cigarettes. So here in the United States, when you buy a pack of cigarettes, you pay a lot of money in taxes. So that's one thing, so kind of like a punishment, a financial punishment. But they also made it harder to smoke in public, so having laws against smoking in public. They banned smoking in bars and restaurants, then in parks and public spaces. While the evidence isn't perfect, there are indications that this has reduced smoking overall, especially among teenagers. These public policy interventions that make it harder to be unhealthy are called structural interventions. They alter the way the world is structured and therefore influence the way people behave, not by persuading them to behave a certain way, but by making it easier or harder to do certain things. Okay, Kako. Kako, there you go.
Okay. They banned smoking in bars and restaurants, then in parks and public spaces. While the evidence isn't perfect, there are indications that this has reduced smoking overall, especially among teenagers. These public policy interventions that make it harder to be unhealthy are called structural interventions. They alter the way the world is structured and therefore influence the way people behave, not by persuading them to behave in a certain way, but by making it easier or harder to do certain things.
Good. So they banned smoking. So when the government bans something, or when an organization bans or school bans something, it means it's against the law. So you can't do that now. And something like smoking, you might just be told, you can't smoke here. Maybe there's a fine or something like that, perhaps. But usually there's a sign up that says, no smoking allowed, that kind of thing. So first it just happened here in the U.S. just in bars, restaurants, things like that. But now in more and more places, even in parks, so even outside, and in other public spaces where people will be gathered, crowds of people will be together, you're not supposed to smoke. Evidence is the proof. Like, you see something that's happening and that could prove something. So the evidence isn't perfect. So we don't know really exactly what the effect has been, but there are indications. An indication is kind of like a signal, or there's information that shows us something. So indicates is the verb to indicate, it to show that it looks like smoking has been reduced overall. So in general, less smoking is happening, especially among or with teenagers. So teenagers aren't smoking as much because of these policies. That's the idea there. These are called public policy interventions. When you intervene, it means you do something. Something's happening and the government intervenes. They go in and they change something. You can intervene, like if two people are having a conversation and you come up and you say, hey, how's it going? You are kind of intervening in their conversation. So it's when you put yourself in between something. So this is an intervention that is making it harder to be unhealthy. So it's harder to be able to smoke anywhere you want. You have to do it at home or in your car or something like that. So they're calling these types of interventions structural, so changing the structure of the environment where people are. And so it's altering or changing the way the world is structured, so how it's set up, in a bar or a restaurant. These things you can do and these other things you can't do. That's the structure of the environment. And this also, therefore, influences the way people behave, how they act, what they can or what they can't do. So they don't try to educate them or persuade them or convince them they have to stop behaving in a certain way or do this or that. They just make it illegal. So that's a structural intervention. So it's these kind of interventions can make things easier for people to do or harder for them to do it. This approach has also been used in battling the HIV/AIDS crisis, as researchers realized that it wasn't just people's behavior, but also police harassment, dilapidated buildings, and many other factors that contribute to the spread of the disease. Okay, Heidi, do you have a little more here to read?
This approach has also been used in battling the HIV/AIDS crisis, as researchers realized that it wasn't just people's behavior, but also police harassment, dilapidated buildings, and many other factors that contribute to the spread of the disease.
So remember, we're talking about weight, losing weight, and maybe some things that affect whether or not people are successful. So this person is now kind of comparing and contrasting. So another approach or another way that they tried to deal with or battle, battle is like in war you go to battle, but you also go to battle against problems and illnesses and diseases and things like that. So trying to address or to battle against the HIV/AIDS crisis, they looked at other factors as well. So that's kind of the comparison here, is looking at other reasons why people gain weight or have a hard time losing weight, and how people approach other common issues that we've had to deal with in society. So let's see, the researchers realized, so they figured out, that's another way to say realize, to figure out that it wasn't just, so it's not just or only the way people behave that gets them to have AIDS, that's not the only problem or the only factor in contracting AIDS or getting AIDS, but also police harassment. Harassment means when the police are coming and they're kind of annoying you. They're saying, hey, get off of here. What are you doing? And it's not really like you're breaking the law. They're harassing you. So they're just talking to you kind of in a negative way, and it's not really necessary. So that was harmful. Dilapidated buildings means buildings that are falling down, that are not in good repair. So buildings that are old and, probably are not safe. That's what it means, dilapidated. And many other factors, many other things that can contribute or, add to the problem of the spreading of the disease. So there are other reasons, not just people and, having sex or doing drugs, but these other reasons were also factors in getting AIDS. While it may seem like a no-brainer that the world around us contributes to our health, we seldom take that into account when we talk about trying to improve ourselves. Realizing it's not all your fault and not blaming yourself so much can help you maintain your resolution. Okay, Diana.
While it may seem like a no-brainer that the world around us contributes to our health, we seldom take that into account when we talk about trying to improve ourselves. Realizing it's not all your fault and not blaming yourself so much can help you maintain your resolution.
Mm-hmm. This is a kind of a common word we use a lot, a no-brainer. A no-brainer. So it's a noun. It may seem like a no-brainer. So you could also say it may seem obvious. We realize that the world around us contributes to our health, affects how healthy we are or whether or not we get sick. But we seldom means not very often. So it doesn't happen very often that we take into account. We don't take this information, this no-brainer, obvious kind of factor into account. We don't consider it when we're talking about trying to improve ourselves, like losing weight or getting healthy or getting more exercise. There are other things that we have to take into account or take into consideration or to think about. Realizing it's not all your fault. So, maybe losing weight is not just so easy as skipping dessert or taking a walk every day or something like that. So it's not all your fault, and so maybe you shouldn't blame yourself. And maybe if you stop doing that, you will be able to maintain, or continue on with your New Year's resolution. Readiness to change and self-efficacy, but not social support or behavioral skills, prospectively predicted successful outcome at both 1 week and 1 month. Successful resolvers were also found to report employing significantly more behavioral strategies and less self-blame and wishful thinking than unsuccessful resolvers. So this is talking about a study. This is a quote. So which people were successful and which people were not so successful in keeping their resolutions. Chow, you're back. Do you want to read? Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
You get to read the hard one again. This is a tricky couple of sentences there.
Okay. So readiness to change and self-efficacy, but now the social support or behavior skills prospectively predicted successful outcome at both 1 week and 1 month. Successful resolvers were also found to report employing significantly more behavior strategies and less self-blame and wishful thinking than unsuccessful resolvers.
Okay. All right.
So basically, yeah. Okay, I'll ask a question after you explain the whole.
Okay.
Whole test.
So yeah, this is so they're talking about what they found, like in some studies. So they're quoting here. So a readiness to change. Let's go a little bit at a time. So how ready are you to really make a change? That really makes a difference. If you're going at a party and everybody says, "Oh, what's your New Year's resolution?" and you say, "Oh, I want to lose 5 pounds," or "I want to lose 20 pounds." maybe you really aren't ready to do that. You just said it. So that's a really important factor in whether or not you're going to be successful, is your readiness. How ready are you to really make a change? Also, self-efficacy. That means how the strength of your own belief. How much do you actually believe in yourself? So this is a mindset thing. How strong is your commitment to yourself and to your goals? That is a factor that is going to predict. Prospectively means future prediction. If people are ready and they believe that they can do it, then they're more likely to be successful. But not social support. So having social support didn't make a difference. Even if you have your friends saying, okay, you can do it, that's social support. Or behavioral skills, trying to change your behavior, like getting up, going for a walk first thing in the morning, drinking a glass of water. How you behave was not, predictive of a successful outcome. It was just these two things that were prospectively, which means in the future, able to predict whether or not somebody would have a successful outcome, which is a result, at both 1 week and 1 month. So that's the basic idea of that sentence. What was helpful and what wasn't helpful to predict who would be successful after 1 week or after 1 month. Successful resolvers, this is the noun that the person who made the resolution, they resolved to do this thing. The people who were successful, also found to report employing significantly more behavioral strategies and less self-blame. So behavioral skills, maybe, I'm not sure there's what exactly they're referring to. They didn't give us an example, but the people who were successful, they did a lot more of the behavioral strategy. So it maybe employing means putting into place or using a lot of different strategies, but they used less self-blame. So they didn't, say, I suck, I can't do this, it's all my fault, I don't have any willpower. And they didn't use wishful thinking. Wishful thinking is thinking like you're going to lose 5 pounds in 1 week just by taking a walk every day or something like that. That's called wishful thinking. You think you wish it'll happen, but it's not going to. So they did this more than the unsuccessful resolvers. Okay, Chao, what did you want to ask?
Okay, I think you already clarified my doubts. Yes, I was. What I want to ask is behavior skills, and then hey, this author talked again of behavior skills works, but I just found out that it is behavior strategies rather
Right.
than the pure skills. So that is a difference.
Yes, skills are something, like you already have a skill or you don't, and they're employing, I would say, new strategies, new different ways of doing things. Yeah, and I would say it's, also the big idea is not to blame yourself. So that's the mindset thing, is just feel good about yourself and stop, blaming yourself, beating yourself up. That's a big problem with people who are trying to lose weight. They eat a little bit too much one day and they start beating themselves up. That's a problem. So,
Yeah.
Okay. All right. You can also make your own structural changes. Instead of trying to muscle through to your weight loss goals on willpower alone, try changing the world around you so that it helps rather than hurts your chances of reaching your goals. For example, research shows that people unknowingly eat more when they use larger plates. So making a switch from platters to saucers might help. Researchers used self-refilling soup bowls to study this. Okay, that's interesting. All right, yeah. Okay, Kelvin, how about you, Ree?
Okay,
From you can also make.
sure. You can also make your own structural changes. Instead of trying to muscle through to your weight loss goals on willpower alone, try changing the world around you so that it helps rather than hurt your chances of reaching your goals. For example, uh, research shows that the people you know uh,
Unknowingly.
unknowingly,
Mhm.
yeah, okay, it's more when they use large plates. So making a switch from platers to saucers,
Mhm.
okay, might help. Researchers use self-refilling soap balls to study this.
Mhm. Okay, good. All right, so the idea that they talked about up above about structural changes. So how do you structure or create your environment? So you can change some things in your home, perhaps. So rather than, you can say rather than trying to muscle through. So to muscle through means like to use your willpower, your strength, and just say, I'm going to lose this weight no matter what, which can be hard. To try to get your weight loss goals just on willpower alone. That's just on your strength of willpower. Try changing the world around you, so your environment, so that it can help you. Your environment can help you rather than hurt you in terms of your chances. What are your chances? What is the percent of chance that you have of reaching your goal? You either increase your chances or lower your chances. So one thing they tell you could do would basically be just to switch, to change from using larger plates, platters or large plates, to saucers. These are the little plates that you put like a teacup on or something. So, changing the size of your plate could help, because research has shown that people unknowingly, so without knowing, eat more if they're using larger plates. And that's something people talk a lot about American restaurants. They usually give you large plates full of food, and we eat them all. So sometimes maybe you don't need that much food. All right, so they figured this out because they did a study using self-refilling soup bowls. So self-refilling means you use a small soup bowl and then it refills itself. So it's kind of like a trick thing. And so they figured out people could just keep eating more there. And then the person said, can't make this stuff up. I can't make up this, that they used this in the research. Or try rearranging your kitchen so the first thing you see in your pantry or fridge are apples, not Oreos. So that covers your health on an individual level, which just leaves the whole country. New Year's might be a good time to remember to stop putting all the blame for stretched health systems on unhealthy people, and to start looking at how society undermines its citizens' health. Okay, Ignacio.
Yeah. Can't make this stuff up. Or try rearranging your kitchen so the first thing you see in your pantry or fridge are apples, not Oreos. So that covers your health on an individual level, which just leaves the whole country. New Year's might be a good time to remember to stop putting all the blame for stretched health systems on unhealthy people, and to start looking at how society undermines its citizens' health.
Okay. All right, so making stuff up just means like you're just creating it out of nowhere, just making up a story or something. So finally, try to rearrange your kitchen. So to rearrange means to move things around. So put things in different places. So the pantry is like a cabinet where you have like dry goods or canned foods or cookies, things like this. So you want to move things around, rearrange things so that when you look into your pantry or you open up your fridge, that's short for refrigerator, you see apples and not Oreos. So Oreos, I just want to make sure everybody knows what Oreos are. These cookies that are quite popular, especially with kids, and they're known to be very sweet, and scientists use them to see whether or not people eat Oreos the same way they are maybe addicted or craving junk food and other drugs and things like this. That's what this one is about. Okay. All right. So you don't want to see Oreos. You want to see apples instead. But the final paragraph says, so that covers your health on an individual level. So you could do this yourself. This just leaves the whole country. So who knows what everybody else is going to do, or when you walk into a restaurant, how that's going to be for you, that kind of thing. But at an individual level, you can make some changes for yourself in your own home, for example. But this is the person's kind of claim here at the very end. This might be a good time to remember to stop putting all the blame, so blaming people for stretched health systems. This means our health system in the United States is stretched. It means that we're doing too much. We can't help all the people who need help. Stop blaming that on the unhealthy people. And this is the prescription here. Start looking at how society undermines citizens' health. So how is it that we make it impossible for people to actually be healthy? So by allowing people to, create junk food, eat junk food, schools, all those kinds of things. How is the society structured so that we actually don't have a chance, or a very good chance, of being healthy? So, Chow, I imagine that would be something you would contest here. Is it the responsibility of the government to help people be healthy, or is it an individual's responsibility?
Of course, it's the individual's responsibility.
Yeah.
And also the lose weight is all about self-control. Not all about self-control, but self-control plays a big role of that. And the interesting thing is that I learned a course, the behavior economics, and it talks about some technical strategies of this self-control. And I think that the wellness is matter, but if you apply some strategies, it may work for somebody. I tried some because when I was preparing for an exam, I don't like math, but I have to study math.
Yeah,
so
okay.
I made a deal with my roommate. I told him that, okay, I'm gonna to spend 3 hours per day for doing math. If I can do that, okay, I said that I'll put 30 RMB, 30 yuan in the desk, and I'll study 3 hours per day. If I can't do that for if I just do 2 hours per day, you can get 10 yuan from the desk. If I didn't do anything, you can take hold the 30 yuan. So and it continued for a week, I think. Then the contract stopped, and he don't want me to lose more money.
How much money did you lose?
I don't know. It's something like 30 yuan or maybe even more. And then he bought some fruits and some food and for us to share that amount of money. So sometimes this technology, this strategy works, but sometimes it's not. It's all about the wellness.
It's hard. Yeah.
And interest. Yes.
Right. Well, I think that's kind of the one main idea here is, people do have willpower and self-control, but sometimes there are things that make it really hard. So, if the company, like you don't have to eat Oreos, like that's for sure, but if you do, maybe your brain gets used to the sugar and this kind of stuff, and it becomes more addictive. Kako, what do you think about this idea of making things harder? Do you think it helps if you use a smaller plate? Maybe I'm going to try using a smaller plate.
Yes, Lisa, I agree that we are influenced by the environment. Even when we are eating. For For example, restaurants, self-service restaurants used to provide big plates
Yeah.
in order to induce the client to put a lot of different kinds of food, uh, and after all,
Mm.
they consume very much,
Mm.
very much food.
Yeah.
I think eating in smaller plates can be a way to control, that helps us to control. Going not frequently to the fridge is a way to avoid
Stay away
consume.
from the fridge. Yes.
Yeah.
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 Diana, what do you think about skipping the Oreos instead of you should have apples? Is that a good strategy?
Um, Maybe it's a good strategy, but if you have an addiction for the Oreos, it's impossible.
It's too impossible.
Yes, I like a lot the Oreos.
The Oreos, yeah.
Are delicious, yes. It's impossible to leave the Oreos.
Yeah, kids really like them. Yeah.
Not
Okay.
only the
Not only the kids. Yeah, I hear that. Well,
yes.
we used up all our time, you guys, so we didn't have too much time to discuss, but a little bit. Hopefully, you guys learned some new vocabulary and some new expressions. There were a couple of them good ones in there that I highlighted. And thanks for coming to the class. Have a good evening.
Thank you.
Or have a good day. Ciao.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.